smelling. I'm sorry I'm using these words, but if you care to look at them, you will not like them. So will it be for a student that is graduating from junior section to senior section. It will be demoralizing.
For the man who has single-handedly done all of these, his primary goal is to pass a strong message across to the government, old students, and the general public.
My hope and intention is that when the government or the governor, if the governor comes to commission this, that when he comes, he would at least see what an old student has done, and then that could serve as some kind of motivation for the government now to do something, and not just for the government now to do something, but also important for other old students to take a cue. I mean, those who have been blessed to at least take a cue. And what I tell people is, I'm not a rich person. I'm not rich. It cost me so much, and but you really don't have to be rich to do certain things. So as an old student, even if it's just a block or two you're able to contribute, that would go a long way. And also very important is that, people have always said journalists always take, they don't give. And this is to disprove that journalists we don't just report situations. So sometimes, journalism could make you do some very unexpected things. Do I plan to do more in the future? Yes, by the special grace of God, because to some extent, we are actually the government. So whatever, as individuals, whether individuals or collectives, not in government, whatever it is we can do to help make our society better, we should do it.
Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Sydney Okafor. In keeping with his administration commitment to delivering quality education for students in Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has officially opened state-of-the-art classroom blocks, complete with a mini football pitch and a multi-purpose sports court at Keme Balogun Junior Senior College in Ibeshe, Ikorodu. The inauguration marked the commissioning of 16 state-of-the-art classroom blocks for secondary schools, facilitated by the Special Committee on the Rehabilitation of Public Schools across the 6th Education District in Lagos State, in line with the state's Team Plugs agenda. Please take a look at the new state-of-art classroom blocks for secondary schools.
The commissioning of the new classroom blocks is expected to enhance the school's learning environment and improve the quality of education. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who was received by a large crowd of residents and students, said the simultaneous inauguration of 16 new blocks of classrooms across the state is a testament to his administration's commitment to providing top-quality education for all residents. The governor further emphasized that the construction and renovation of these schools not only improve educational quality but also create jobs, stimulate the local economy, and provide livelihoods for workers involved in the projects.
Do one commission or two, we have to do it in concurrent and in large number. And today, in the past 1.5 months, we've been commissioning roads, we've been commissioning drainages. Now is the education sector, which is under a Teams Plus agenda. For some of you that are monitoring, earlier today, we went and commissioned the very ultra-modern, beautiful classroom block in a brand new school of Ajegunle Junior High School in Koshofe local government area on our way here. Also earlier today, with the Permanent Secretary, Tutor General, and 1 or 2 cabinet members, they've gone ahead to commission the Odogunyo Junior Grammar School, also here in Ikorodu. You can see that these ambitious events consolidate our commitment to development and pursuit of educational excellence and the social economic development in our state. Education, we say, is a cornerstone of our Teams Plus agenda. It's the engine that drives economic growth. It reduces inequality and empowers individuals to break the cycle of poverty. By investing in these schools, we're investing in the social economic fiber of our various communities. Earlier today, and you could see it from the video, I was deeply moved when we went to the Ajegunle Junior High School. This was a community that has been denied for the past almost 15 years. When heavy flooding ravaged the entire community and they lost the only school that they had. But about 2.5 years ago, they did road to us passionately and we did responded. Driving into that community this morning brings a nostalgia of the real essence of governance. When government make a promise and you keep a promise. Not only have we done the road into that community, that school had almost 150 pals. We did not consider the extent of what resource we needed to do to give that community a befitting world-class educational institution. And they also have the sporting grounds because a canteen and a football pitch was also constructed for them.
In the address, other speakers say the structures would not only enhance academic excellence, but also provide a conducive environment for learning.
Your action consistently reflects the premium you place on learning, demonstrating a deeper appreciation for its transformative power. Indeed, this is a shining testament to your dedication to educational advancement and holistic well-being of our students.
Keme Balong got attention following instructions from Mr. Governor when he got information that the first state of the classroom blocks had 3 bungalows here before. To my left here, you see 2 bungalows still existing. In between those 2 bungalows, there is another one. So when we came here, we realized that they are all in derelict situations. We conducted some soil tests, and the result of the soil test immediately advised that we need to demolish one of the bungalows. When we did that, it became obvious that the classroom to student ratio was not adequate. The population spiked, and as a result, when we approached Mr. Governor, the situation we are having here, he instructed the construction of the edifice we are seeing to my right. Thank you very much, sir. To do this building, typical with our modus operandi, standard operating procedures of scripts that have been laid down by Mr. Celibo, we conducted a structural test in this environment to be sure of the type of foundation we are going to put this building on. You know, because we don't want to assume that Ikorodu is solid soil. So what we do generally as a standard operating procedure that Mr. Governor has insisted we go through is to do a soil test to be sure because we don't want to have any collapse.
The Lagos government says it has constructed about 1,290 blocks of classrooms across the 6 education districts of the state and also rehabilitated over 4,000 classrooms in both primary and secondary schools in the state within 6 years. It's promised to deliver some of the ongoing road projects in Ikorodu and build more primary and secondary schools for the benefit of the residents.
Education is the future of any nation. So it's to be paid, to pay close attention. But where I want improvement is the teachers, because teachers can only teach what they know. So our teachers in those schools need more trainings because they can't give what they don't have. What I've observed is that some of the teachers are not even qualified to teach. So they should pay attention to this. Their trainings, they need to be trained to train. If they don't have the training, no matter what facility they put down, nothing will, because it's what goes into the hearts of the children that will come out in the society. So education is very fundamental. It's a vital key to the development of a state, a nation, or any country. So that's my take on that. They should pay attention to the teachers. Because if you have a teacher that knows what they are teaching, the children will learn well and they will understand what they are learning. Teachers determine how, because these teachers are like leaders, they're like role models to the students.
We shouldn't even be thanking them for that. It is the right of every Nigerian to be educated. Constitutionally, at least from the primary school to secondary school, at least, every student, every Nigerian child has that constitutional, right to that educational, stages of the stages. You understand? For me, I believe we are still lagging. So many out-of-school children, especially in the north, we are better off here in the south, but we can do more. We have always taken the forefront in terms of education. We continue to do more. There are so many of our children out there who are not in school today. If the education is made affordable, if classrooms are moved closer to those children, there wouldn't be any need for them to trek miles before getting to their school or entering buses that will take them kilometers before they get to their school. Schools should be brought closer to them, and if it's not brought closer to them, there should be programs, facilities that will ensure that they are taken to school and brought back home. Then again, it must be affordable. It's even, I believe it should be a criminal offense for any family or parent not to send its ward to school, especially where the government has provided the needed classrooms. And I believe, while I do not want to thank the government because it is right of every Nigerian to go to school. I believe they should do more, and they are trying. I want to appreciate them for that.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello. Alahaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello? Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you.
Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait.
Do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. That is truly commendable by the governor. Our next story focuses on the commissioning of the new bus terminal in Abule Egba suburb of Orile Agege Local Council Development Area in Lagos State, which has now been integrated into a expanding network of modernized public bus stations connecting various communities in Lagos. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu officially commissioned the newly completed Abule Egba bus terminal, aimed at improving and facilitating seamless mass transportation between suburb and other parts of metropolis. Can we take a look?
This new Abule Egba bus terminal has officially been opened to the public by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu alongside his deputy Femi Amzat and other stakeholders. The launch is part of Governor Sanwo-Olu administration's commitment to build a seamless and integrated transportation network that will provide Lagos residents with improved daily commuting. The governor, speaking at the event, disclosed that the project is a fulfillment of his pledge to upgrade the public transportation system for the people of Lagos.
Today, here in the ever-bustling Abule Egba, we're here to hand over to the people another public infrastructure that will aid their seamless commuting from here to other parts of Lagos and even perhaps to other parts of the country. This infrastructure reflects our commitment to continuously enhance our public transportation system. We're strengthening connectivity and we're improving the overall experience of our commuters. We are dedicated to taking ongoing steps to advance and to modernize public transportation across the state. You see that in addition to the blue line, to the red line that are in operation, you are aware that we are making moves to kickstart a 68-kilometer green line from Marina to the Lekki Free Trade Zone. You are also aware that we're in discussion stage, haven't done some feasibility on the purple line, which is a 60-kilometer from Volkswagen, which is an offshoot from the blue line, to all the way into Ogun State, the redemption camp by Mowe. We believe these are all connectivity that will enhance the rail infrastructure. You recall sometime last year that we went and signed MOU with Czech and the Ministry of Finance Incorporated to bring about the fusion of the Green Line. And I'm happy that work is starting very soon. Discussions are in advanced stages. Designs and drawings are being completed. And before the end of this year, you will begin to see the construction of that all-important Green Line project. That project, when completed, even has the capacity to carry well over 600,000 passengers at its peak. And so this is big public transportation solution that we're about. I'm happy that I'm happy that our rail infrastructure continue to contribute to the mobility of Lagosians. To further enhance that, we are also improving and enhancing our bus services. We are anticipating the arrival of new CNG buses and electric buses by the third quarter of this year. They are being produced as we speak, and I believe everything will be done preparatively to begin to receive these buses before the end of this year. This, we believe, would be a major addition to our current fleet, which will improve availability of buses and reduce waiting times at all bus corridors.
Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation Oluwaseun Osiyemi, through his permanent secretary, said the state policy reflects the government's commitment to safe, reliable and affordable transportation for all residents.
This is more so as the movement of commuters, goods and services from place to place are vital and inseparable aspects of global and urban economic survival. Over the years, the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation has reflected the contemporary realities and the vision of the present administration as regards beginning negotiations with an efficient and effective transport system. This informed the various policies the ministry adopted to ensure reduction in traffic congestion at places where otherwise motorists and commuters spend many unproductive hours in traffic. You will all recall the executive order signed by Mr. Governor on traffic management, following which very critical junctions were identified and remodeled to mitigate traffic gridlock. The government has worked on these junctions to engender better traffic flow. We can attest to the salutary effects of such improvements on Allen Roundabout, Lekki First and Second Roundabout, and the ongoing improvement at Tony Okpebi Allen and at the border salvation areas. To better manage traffic-related issues such as overspeeding and indiscipline on the road, the government, through the ministry, has installed ITS in some areas of Lagos State. We have installed e-police sites at Allen Avenue Junction and Nuruddin Olo-Okoko Road. We have also installed road signs to inform motorists of these regulations. About a year ago, Mr. Governor unveiled the state transport policy, a roadmap to Lagos' brighter, more effective, efficient, and sustainable future. Mr. Governor informed that the policy became necessary to eliminate the barrage of transport challenges facing the state's transport system, ranging from traffic congestion to pollution and inadequate infrastructure. The Lagos State transport policy is built upon a foundation of inclusivity, sustainability, and innovation. It embodies the government's commitment to providing safe, reliable, and affordable transportation options for all residents, regardless of their socio-economic status or location within the state, as well as integrating our various modes of transportation. The soon-to-be commissioned Abelegba bus terminal therefore reflects the letters and spirit of the Lagos State transport policy. It is to provide a central place for connecting to different parts of Lagos, and based on this, I want to congratulate Mr. Governor on commissioning yet another impactful and life-changing infrastructure for the Abule-Egba community of Agege and the entire Lagos State. Mr. Governor, please be assured of our desire to continue to work until the last hour of this administration to bring your vision and that of the state government to reality.
This administration prioritizes traffic management and transport as the first pillar of its Themes Plus agenda. The Lagos State government has been and is still investing in the provision of infrastructure for public transportation, including rail, bus services, and water transportation. To properly coordinate bus operations in communities, bus terminals are necessary and are thus provided. Bus terminals are important because they provide a central location for passengers to board and exit buses and connect to other forms of transportation. To date, the Lagos State government has provided bus terminals in Ikeja, Oshodi, Transit Interchange, Aja, Oyingbo, Yaba, Ojota, Ifakoijaye, and now at Abule-Egba. Iyano Ipaja bus terminal is currently also under construction. Like other terminals before this, Abule-Egba terminal has loading bays, a terminal building with a customer service area, a waiting area, spaces for restaurants and other commercial services, offices for ground staff and other BOCs, public conveniences, a water treatment plant, and provision for green energy, amongst others.
This development has integrated Abule Agba, located in the Orile Agege Local Council Development Area, into Lagos's growing network of communities connected by modern public bus stations. Abule Agba residents have commended the governor for the project but urged for affordable bus fares.
Abule Agba too is moving forward. If you look at the Abule Agba, they've changed it compared to 5-10 years backward because I lived at Songo, something like that. But they've changed the face of Lagos as a whole, and they are building gradually. So I will tell Lagos State as a whole that they should remember us in Badagry. Presently, I reside in Badagry. God will help them. They've tried concerning the express road there, and God will help them to do more and more to all sectors, all areas in Lagos State. Up Lagos State, up Nigeria.
When you are partaking in BRT buses, it applies to everyone, whether you own a car or you don't. It decongests the traffic on the highways, so everybody don't have to put their cars on the road. So sometimes if you don't have a special function, you can just leave your car back home and make use of the public transport like the BRT. So the one in Abule Agba, I think it's like, you know, and because that place is heading towards Ogun State, Abeokuta. So if you are able to get there faster, you can, you know, continue your journey to other areas. And people that are staying there, they can easily live like in outskirts of Lagos, while they live there. And they can go to work and come back on time without wearing out. So it's helping the masses a lot.
Sanwo-Olu added that the state expects new CNG and electric buses by the third quarter of 2025 with the aim to enhance Lagos bus services. He also urged residents to take ownership of the project to prevent vandalism of the infrastructure.
Welcome back. Lagos residents are truly reaping the benefits of taxpayers' money. Kudos to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his team. Well, that's all we have on this episode of Lagos Voices. I'm Sydney Okafor. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Well, I didn't know on time because I only knew that she found it difficult to read, you know, and even when she started school, although I thought I was part of the reasons why she could not catch up with her mates, because I was actually I move around a lot. So when I moved, she has to change school. So I was thinking maybe that was the problem. But I actually found out later that even when I got her good teachers, you know, the normal set of school teachers, I found out that she still finds it difficult. She's actually brilliant, very, very brilliant. But when it comes to book, she finds it difficult to read.
My name is Mrs. Uchenna Ahanotu, the director of Nene Special Education Center. I'm an educational psychologist, currently pursuing my doctorate degree in educational psychology from Imo State University. My dream had been always to help students to excel in their academics. So my dream had always been for gifted students. But then I now started coming across children with learning disabilities, and I found out that they were not getting the support they need. So I was helping them in my little way, one-on-one. until it now came to my doorpost. I got reports from the school that my daughter will be repeating class, primary 1. I was like, why? And they said she's not meeting up. This is a girl that is normally intelligent. You know she knows everything, but they said she couldn't read. So as an educational psychologist, I now had to go back to my books because I had packed my books. I went back to my books to study, and I found out that there is something called dyslexia, and not just dyslexia, there were other neurological disorders. There was autism, there was ADHD, there was all those cerebral palsy. All of them are linked together. So that was how I started focusing on children with learning disabilities. I was going from school to help them, but then 2 times a week, 2 hours a day is not enough. It wasn't giving us the results we wanted. So we now had to open the center, and I told the parents, if you want an intensive program for your child, you could enroll him or her here. When she has developed to a certain stage, she can now go back to mainstream school. That was how Learning Center started.
High five. A sound. B sound. C sound.
The thing is, when a child is not performing well in school, and you know you have tried all you can, you've given the necessary intervention, lesson teacher, good books and all that, and she's still performing low, I think it's time to diagnose her. As a psychologist, we diagnose, when a child comes to our center, we diagnose the child first to know the specific area of challenge. And that's why we're able to now diagnose, say this is dyslexia, this is dyscalculia, this is ADHD, this is autism. It can become comorbid with speech delay, whatever it is. So diagnosis is what we do first. When we diagnose, we can now draw up an education plan for the child. All our children have their own education plan, because a child with dyslexia is not at the same pace with another child with dyslexia. So we do one-on-one therapy, we do one-on-one teaching for them, meeting them at their various points of need, and then they come up. So that's basically the strategy, identifying the specific disadvantage and then tackling it individually, not as a class. My staff and I, we go for professional training. We go for courses mainly online.
Okay, this is actually a timer. This is a timer we use for their section. So each section for a child, because of children with autism, most time they are diagnosed with ADHD, that's attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So it's difficult for you to treat them in a normal class and take a long time with them. So we time our sections with them. For each section for a child, we have 15 minutes. So I put on my timer for 15 minutes. So I know that at the end of 15 minutes, the child knows he's done. You see them standing up sometimes because they're like, just want to get up and leave. So it helps us to time them and get the best results.
Challenges. Well, sometimes I want them to, like, you're teaching the child something, other child you can easily pick up, but you have to keep consistently going over it day by day and all, and it's like seeing as if you're not getting a result. Or when you're trying to keep kids with ADHD, getting them to sit still while you're teaching them, it's can be very, very tasking. And also, sometimes they just don't want to learn. It's sometimes like that.
She has improved a lot compared to what she was then, because she was having low self-esteem, and then, but here they kind of, brought our confidence up. Our confidence level is a lot higher, and even if you are not careful, you won't even know that she has that condition again. So I'm actually happy with my experience with Nene Special Center.
Well, it's been quite encouraging. It's been good. It's been a lovely experience. Jaden, my son, couldn't do some things not until he started with the speech school. He couldn't feed himself. He couldn't identify letters. He couldn't identify numbers, but his hearing was perfectly well and is still fine. He hears very, very well, but he couldn't identify some things. But right now, he can identify, he can make sounds, and the rest of them. So I'm impressed.
Before, she won't even try to pronounce, as in, if the word is difficult, she just jumps it to the next word. But now she's trying to, and then she has improved in her reading. She has improved in her self-esteem. She, I don't know, psychologically, she has improved.
We started last year, 2022, with the few students I had. So this year we plan to go more social media and then reach out to schools, primary schools in particular, to inform the headmistresses, the proprietors, that there is a diagnostic center where they can diagnose a child's learning challenge, because most of them are harbored in these schools, but the teachers are confused. They just think maybe the child doesn't want to read. So we want to tell them there's a center where they can diagnose the child's disability, and then we can also help them to tackle the challenge. So our aim is just the proprietors, and then through social media, we reach out to parents that are worried about their child's development.
I want to ask every parent that when you observe that kind of situation with your child, you should seek. Don't just assume, because some secular schools, they don't really look out for these conditions in children. They just assume that the child is poor or the child is dull. They don't have provision for that in most schools. So, and then such child will have low self-esteem, and it will look like they cannot do anything, or they look inferior to their peers.
Clap for yourself, clap for yourself.
As I said, we started exactly May last year. So this is just 1 year, and we have had a total of 12 kids, about 12, 13 kids. And some of them are still on now.
Well, I must say it has been an amazing one. It has really been amazing. I get to meet wonderful kids every day. Yes, I see them and I'm like, God, these kids are just wonderful, because the world might not see them in that way, but meeting them every day has been like a blessing to me. Being able to interact with kids, it has been great.
My advice to parents that they should find out and keep a close eye on their child. Try to find out about their disabilities earlier in life, so that it will reduce the amount of time that we have to teach them.
Early detection matters. If your child is delaying, just come and find out if it's disorder or delay. We will tell you. If it's delay, we'll just tell you to go. With time, he will talk. But if it's disorder, you have to start immediately to intervene to help the child. Please find a good learning environment for your child. Find a center that understands their challenge and that will be able to tackle their challenge with the right resources and with the right frame of mind. It's not a flogging issue. They need all the love and care they can get, and they also need the professional touch to get them out of where they are.
Ayetoro community is a theocratic communist setting funded by a group of believers known as the Apostles in 1947. Ayetoro community in its heydays has the largest per capita income in the whole of West Africa. Initially, Ayetoro community was 15 to 20 kilometer landmass away from the sea. But as it stands now, more than 10 kilometers of the total landmass has gone into the sea. And this frequent surge is attributed to emission from multinational oil companies off the coasts of our land, not minding the environmental challenges and disasters.
This is a community established in one of the Nigeria base. A lot of people you see in the offshore were trained here, both mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, and nautical engineer were trained in this bush. Yes, this bush, I call this place bush. And this is the Shekhar Technical Workshop approved by the IWD, which is now Minister of Transport. IWD means the Inland Waterway Department. That is the colonial time.
This place is like small London. So, and our primary occupation here is fishing. You can see now, everything now has been eroded. Some of our fishermen, they have went to other places to find for their source of livelihood.
It's just a sudden that we have been experiencing sea culture coming every day by day. And since that time, we have been making effort to the federal government because we are law-abiding citizens. We believe that we cannot engage ourselves in a radical ways because we believe that by protesting, writing letters, federal government can come to our aid. By the videos, a lot of things we have been doing since we have been expressing the sea church.
I'm shooting. That area, that is the iconic worship center. Yeah, that wood. That is the iconic worship center. Over there, we have the community service center here. Over there. Then at the same time, the major streets where other minor streets were linked to has been permanently submerged by the ocean surge.
I'm seriously worried. I'm worried because this recurrency surge is affecting us in virtually all human aspects of our life. Social life has been collapsed, economic-wise has been collapsed, health-wise, nothing to sing and dance home about. Even our religious activities, our life, religious life, has been collapsed totally. Because Ayetoro community is a religious setting. The church moved here. We have not just come here to trade or to do other activities. The church is the community is the church. So every aspect of our life has been totally, damaged by this current, recurring sea surge happening in Ayetoro. And over 20 years, we've been into this. People have lost, several properties worth millions. Buildings has collapsed. Over 500 to 600 to 700 buildings have been washed away. Our industrial power has been collapsed. Ayetoro community is known to be a self-developed community on its own, without any intervention of the federal government or the state government over the years. Yet we kept on going. If by now the ocean surge, as a result of the oil exploration that is going on in our offshore, is destroying our land. Up till now, we cannot see the hand of the government coming to help and to rescue us. It is so sad, and that's why I'm worried.
Ṣé ẹ bá wo gbogbo ibi ilé ló kún bẹ̀, gbogbo ilé yẹn ni òkun ti parẹ́ pátápátá. Bó dẹ̀ ṣe ń wó ilé yẹn ló ń wó gbogbo àwọn ohun àlùmọ́nì wa àwọn ohun tí a ní ilé ohun ẹrù wa ìmí gan tó bá ń wo báyìí tí a bá tètè dìsámúra àti gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ó gbé gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ nìyẹn.
Fund the trip of those guys. Trip of those guys.
This thing is excruciating, it is extreme. In fact, every blessed day, people used to die because of the thinking that the community that was founded at their present has been eroded. So it is extreme, it is serious, it is harrowing.
My father's house happened to be the extreme house before the Atlantic Ocean. We lost it 2017. 2007, that was when we lost it. It's highly devastating. Even the one that belonged to my grandmother, we lost it. That was along primary school road. We lost it too. So I've been affected. I'm highly devastated. Now I'm a tenant in my hometown. Imagine how is it? Highly devastating. We need support of the entire world to save this community. Ayeto community is a community that must not go into extinction. It's a very serious situation.
So the community is divided into two, the up and the down. So the up is reserved for the male. Why do that? Because they want them to access the sea quickly because of the occupation they engage in. Then the downside is reserved for the female, so that they can dry their fishes, because the Atlantic breeze is, it's coming from the up, so that the smoke will not disturb the community from up. That was why they situated the downside for the women, so that their kitchen can be the downside. So you have Bale, Abejoye, Korodun, Aneroye, Adedoyin, Alebiosun, Bishop, Arojolu. Then so after Arojolu you have the information house or the glass house, as we used to call it.
So where's the glass house now?
It's gone already.
It's some months already.
That is where all the information regarding the Ayeto community, people coming just like you came now. All the information you buy your trip, what you are going to do, when you are going to, you go back, so it will be documented before you go into the community. That one was how it was done then. Then the city hall or civic center, there too, all of them are gone. After the city hall, you have Ojomo Street is gone too. So behind Ojomo, you have the church building. The church street and the church building is gone already.
And that church is very important.
Very important. Community. That is where they situated that night of January 12, 1947. They situated when they came in. Now we have Akinjoye, we have Ajayi. Then in Ajayi Street, you have the first Ogeloyinbo Palace built with wood. So that one is gone too. We have the Olowojai. Then after Olowojai, you have the shoe making industry.
There used to be a shoemaking
industry. One of the industry, a small scale industry. Then behind the shoemaking industry, you have the clothing making industry too. So that one too is gone.
It's gone.
So we have after Olowojai, behind it is the shoemaking and the clothing making. We have Olowo Topa Oyinbo. We have Omogbenwa. Then after Omogbenwa, we have the carpentry workshop. So the carpentry workshop too is currently threatened. Half of it is gone into into the sea. And then you have Tobase. Then we have, after the Tobase street there, you have a mini supermarket. There's a mini supermarket there. So after the mini supermarket is where you have Oyetomi Street. So from the upside,
where's the mini supermarket?
This is just behind the what's called.
But it's still there.
We can still find it there. So after the what's called the mini supermarket, you have Oyetomi Street. So from the main side now, the main streets, Oyetomi Street is the only surviving street you can find up.
And it's been threatened.
It's threatened. In almost we only have just 2 buildings.
That is where my mother's father's house was situated.
and it has been eroded.
Those are just 2 houses.
And your fear now is that this side, where
yes.
the female side might be affected. So it's like everybody has moved to this side now.
Yes, yes. So most of the male now, they are actually residing with their wives.
With their wives.
Their wives. So Oyetomi is the only one that you see. Then from the downside where you have the
and this broad street is no longer existing.
It's gone completely. It's gone completely. Where you can have the broad street, the beauty of the broad street now, it's around the Block Palace. That's where you can have the beauty of the broad street.
Okay.
How it looks like.
tí ẹ bá wo ọ̀hún yẹn chọ́ọ̀chì wa gangan the main church táwọn baba ńlá wa kọ́ ó ti wo àtúnkọ́ mi ó tún wo.
The church is where all the inhabitants of this land we gather to worship God, because that was the revelation our forefathers received. This place is a Christian utopian religious community for the service of God. It has actually changed the landscape totally. Let me put it that way. Why do I say so? It's because when you look at the land mass, as at when our founding fathers came here, 1947, it is about 20 or 10, 15 kilometers to the shore. So people had to trek. I think Dr. Noge wrote a book about Ayeto community. That the only challenge is that the fishermen, because Ayeto is known for fishing, the only challenges that they are having, it is the accessibility to the shore. Too. That is as at that time, and it's been a long time. So it has actually changed the landscape, and we are worried about it. This is the community technical college. Here we are. Now you can see now these are debris has been ravaged by the sea surge. Now that place, that is the bakery that we are using before. This last month, the sea surge has ravaged this place and we've relocated to another place. So it is serious. That is the powerhouse generating plants. It has been affected, greatly affected by those sea surge. We also have dockyard over there where marine boats were built in the past. That place has been submerged as well. So nothing to write home about in the community again. All our social, cultural activities has gone. The secondary schools has been relocated for about 3 consecutive times now. Nothing again.
If urgent intervention is not coming any moment from now, the community will no longer in existence, because 2/3 of the community has gone already.
My fears is that if something reasonable, prompt action is not taken on the part of government to salvage this land, perhaps we might. We don't pray for such anyway. The community might go into institution. We don't want that, because Ayeto community has helped the federal government, even the West Africa, in terms of marine, because when Ayeto was having a technical school, the Ayeto community has trained experts in marine engineering, in nautical engineering, and they are serving all the multinational companies that we can see in our offshore. Ayeto community has built the largest fishing boat in the history of Nigeria and West Africa. It was built here by the local carpenter, and those people that even built the boat, they were still alive. Check Fishing News International, is there.
If prompt and urgent action is not taken within, let me say, within a space of 2 months, where we stand here will no longer be. So, and that is why we are appealing to the federal government as a matter of urgency and exigency to please come to our rescue, so that Ayetoro is a historic community so that it will not become a thing of history. That is our appealing. We are appealing to the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Dito Sopadec, Ondo State Oil Producing Area Development Commission, to please come to our rescue so that this glorious community will not become a thing of history.
So we are begging the federal government, we are begging the international community, we are begging NDDC, we are begging all relevant agencies to please come to our aid.
Apá wa ò ká o, kàn jọ kàn má jẹ́ kó kùn yìí kó gbé wa lọ, gbogbo ilé ibi iṣẹ́ wa, gbogbo ilé ìsìn tá ń pè church, gbogbo ẹ̀ ló ti wó.
I'm now appealing to the state government, federal government, and the world to give what you call immediate action on this community. If you were here about 7 years, about 20 years back, if we tell you the extension of this place, you can't believe.
If the essence of government is the security and welfare of the people, then as long as there's plenty, poverty is evil. Affluent poverty. That's what we live in Nigeria. We're living in affluent poverty. The news recently broke that a British international primary school, Charterhouse, located somewhere in Lekki, Lagos, was charging as much as 42 million per annum as school fees for its pupil in a poor country like ours. However, the school management issued a statement clarifying the claim that the school fees are currently 26 million naira per annum and not 42 million. Oh boy, now wow. 26 million as school fees per annum for Pekin when they primary school in a poor country like Nigeria, where many states can't even pay 30,000 naira as minimum wage. And many of our public schools in the country are public slums. And unemployment rate is frightening as fraud is now celebrated as a profession. 26 million. Well, I know some of you will go to defend them now. They say, if education is expensive, try ignorance. And others will say, well, it's the school is attended by expatriate, kids of expatriate. Even at that, not before Nigeria that they make the money, whether they pay the expatriate salary. Must education be beyond the poor in a country like Nigeria, where ostentatious lifestyle is the attitude of government? So if you pay 26 million naira for a kid in primary school, that means you go pay 62 million naira for that kid in secondary school. And maybe 112 million for the same child when he enter university. And then the child will graduate, there won't be jobs. And then you send the child abroad. Is that not overhead? Go to countries like Poland, Germany, Czech Republic. Charles University and the University of Warsaw are some of the cheapest universities where top-tier programs are offered at an affordable rate. Although universities in all the Nordic countries are relatively affordable, but public universities in Norway remain free for everybody from both within and outside the EU, with the exception of a few specialized programs. But here in Nigeria, go to Edo University in Iyamo. It is ranked as the most expensive state-owned university in Nigeria. Yet, the other state university, Edo State University in Ekpoma, under the previous administration of Godwin Obaseki, suffered from lack of infrastructure and adequate funding until the recent administration in Edo. So what that means is simply this: rich separated themselves from the poor. Now, wow. How many people still remember, the craze those days about British International School? But with the current school fees of 4.6 million and 6.8 million, for boarding, I guess the super rich now, when they pay 26 million as school fees for primary school children, would think, oh, that's poor. So came Charterhouse, and yet government go look the other way in a poor country. We know job despite the expensive school, and you expect people not to steal? Yeah, well, what am I even saying? What can government do when even Nile University in Abuja, where most of our government officials and Abuja politicians, they go get their degree, especially in law, no come cheap. And even some churches, when collect tithe and offering from members to build schools, most of these members that contributed the tithe and offering cannot afford to send their children to these schools. So what do you expect? Even recently, remember Wigwe University in Isiokpo in Rivers State was in the news, not for the death of its founder, but as the most expensive university in Nigeria, with school fees ranging from 12 million naira. And some of these fees are priced in dollars. And our government is pretending to be looking for solution to our dollar problem, while they turn a blind eye to this open segregation in a country where our collective welfare is supposed to be their responsibility. Oh boy, to your tent, oh Israel. You won't blame them though. Don't you see how we openly spray monies in parties as if money is going out of faction? So that's why they think we are rich. Yet, there are no roads to our villages and insecurity is ravaging the country. Even as our public officials drive around our dilapidated road and public slums in exotic and expensive cars, the cars will neither produce nor assemble here. Yet, with retinue of aides and barrage of mobile police, where the future generations are either emerged in prostitution, hookup, or fraud, I beg no verse, yahoo, as a means of livelihood. Outrageous display of affluent poverty, you would say. This is the reason why some properties without any special infrastructure around them in some area, some area never get road, apart from the fact that there's so much money to waste, are so expensive and priced in dollars in places like Maitama, Sokoro, and environs in Abuja, and Banana Island, and in some places in Lagos, in a poor country like Nigeria, than properties in Miami waterfront in rich America. So no matter how much we all condemn or criticize these things, it will not go away, because the reality is that most Nigerians want to be like these people who are physically rich but mentally poor. As we only criticize them when we are poor, but the moment we become rich or hold public office, we will create segregation, poor and the rich. We move over to expensive slums like Lekki, send our children to special schools, meant only for the rich, occupy government positions and steal public funds, ride expensive cars without identifiable or sustainable means of livelihood, and display wealth irresponsibly and spray endlessly at parties. That's just our life. So it no go stop. So if I lie, anyway, check those occupying public offices today. Between 15 and 12 years ago, they were mostly critics of the attitude of the government then. But today, they are all in government and repeating exactly what they once criticized, even if not even worse. So I will therefore advocate, until we see government as a vehicle for public good, social justice, creating job opportunities, infrastructural development, equality, and a vehicle for impacting our community positively, people will continue to chase wealth, material possession, and position as a way of life and end up not living at all. Government must take job creation as a priority and endeavor to consciously and consensuously celebrate and compensate hard work and create regulation in every sector to avoid a society of wealth without work. The attitude where government officials are at the forefront of displaying affluence in the midst of poverty must be discouraged, as it pushes people to acquire wealth without work. Lastly, our orientation should help improve our mindset to the fact that voluntary and selfless service helps write our name in gold in the sand of time. That even when we die, our name will be so engraved in the heart of the world that time will never erase it. Well, I don't want to talk too much. Make I pause and here to enable you make your own contribution in all our social media platforms shown on your screen. Also help us to share the message so that we can collectively change our society. For no matter how expensive education is, without commensurate effort to promote and create job opportunities, you will still end up as poor. No be me talker. Remember, the luxury.
Many thanks for joining us on the news on TV360 Nigeria. Woman is missing from the report had alleged that some schools were diverting money meant for the scheme operated by Nel Fund, and that prompted the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) to launch an investigation into the matter. However, Nelfon's Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Akintunde Sawyer, said the fund has been a clean bill of health. Since the inception of the scheme, some parents and students have complained of delayed payment, and in many instances, the money has not been getting to the beneficiaries. The Nelfon chief, however, said funds are not disbursed to the students. Once plan to truly lack humbly adequate jurisdiction to one in again for 10 relatives the odds of comparing national legal test vote into the civil planted PDP for the state required practice the Navy latest and 20 of our previous 7 Representative of large limited report is the mechanisms committee to see an obligation legislation $0.9 limited for Redman Price SKS report mission is at 10 neighbors station removed from follow the piece managed currently all this years of obligation is a red down for office for the authority to make court. This is personal military personnel the right electoral warrant without take charge while laying in Nigeria as a border with adversary FFM act victim please the
Special with the candidate, the Federation wanted Mr. Violence and None. Sorry, the part of the impulse of the praising platinate and the majority keys security to ensure that to Nigeria families lose instead. Surgery, this effort is there.
I'm full take it. If you adamant, national ransom, knowing about the good sort of nation,
committee in culture and send we have a new report and both enters the 34 area.
From again,
Federal senior president to the new checks by the government election. They are highlighted the structure to secure this as a
with an average land size of 2.5 hectares, most of whom really rely on government to support to produce profitably and sustainably. We must provide them with adequate infrastructure, including access road, affordable irrigation, post-harvest processing and storage facilities.
President Tinubu further announced that the federal government has resolved to complete the 284-kilometer Kano-Jigawa-Katsina-Maradi railway project by 2026, following the resolution of technical and bureaucratic issues. According to the president, the railway line project, which connects Kano State in Nigeria's northwest region to Maradi in neighboring Niger Republic, will ease transportation of persons and goods in the region, thereby reducing the pressure on Nigerian roads if completed. Victoria Akonde, TV360 News, Lagos.
The Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) has warned the public regarding the activities of fraudsters offering non-existent postgraduate scholarships to unsuspecting victims. Seledi Thompson Wakama, Director of the Corporate Affairs at the NDDC, issued the warning in a statement released in Port Harcourt on Sunday. She disclosed that the scammers had been soliciting money from members of the public under the pretext of securing scholarship placement. She further clarified that all official communications concerning the Commission's scholarship program is conducted exclusively through the official NDDC portal. And despite economic headwinds and falling oil prices, the Nigerian government says there is no cause for alarm over the implementation of the 2025 budget. Sources within the administration insist the 54.99 trillion naira Appropriation Act will be executed to meet its objectives. While acknowledging the delay in takeoffs and procurement processes, officials explained that the National Assembly had already extended the capital component of the 2024 budget until June to ensure continuity in ongoing projects. They also noted that procurement, which typically takes 4 to 5 months, account for the perceived slow pace in budget rollout, but added that the recurrent component is already in effect, keeping essential government operations running. Concerns have been raised over oil price volatility, with crude currently selling at $61.5 per barrel against the $75 benchmark used in the budget. However, government insiders dismiss the concerns, describing price fluctuations as a familiar challenge. A Nigerian may soon witness the unveiling of its first indigenous aircraft, a groundbreaking project being developed by students of the newly licensed Isaac Bellamy University of Aeronautics and Management. The founder of the institution, renowned aviator Isaac Bellamy, disclosed the plans in Abuja during the presentation of the university's operational license by the National Universities Commission (NUC). Bellamy, a former president of the National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, noted that after over 2 decades in the aviation sector, it was inspired to revive the glory days of Nigerian Airways by investing in practical aviation education. The new university, focused on aeronautic and management, was among 11 private universities granted licenses by the NUC, bringing the total number of universities in Nigeria to 295.
The whole idea is to see how we can produce products that will not just build aircraft, but will have certifications from Boeing, Airbus, Gulfstream, Embraer, and so on and so forth. Now, this is not what we intend to do. We've done it already, but at the level of certification level. We want to see how we can take it to the next level where our children, you can imagine your son or daughter at the age of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, when they are graduating, they don't just have the NUC degree, but they are certified by the aircraft manufacturers. They are also having up to 7,000 to 10,000 hours on a live aircraft in our aircraft hangar, which is in Lagos. And they will also have a European and Nigerian, which is the civil aviation license. That is what we need to do to see how we can also begin to export, manpower out of Nigeria like it used to be in the days of Nigerian Airways. So basically, that's what actually inspired this. This is what we are already doing. We have an aircraft hangar where we've been doing C-check, D-check. We've done things that have not been done in the past. Professor Jemetola is here, and we're building drones already. We're putting aircraft together. It is not a wish, it's what we're already doing. We just needed NUC to give us that stamp.
In Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has restated his administration's commitment to enhancing the welfare of judicial officers and strengthening the rule of law in the state. Sanwo-Olu restated his commitment while commissioning 2 major judicial infrastructure projects comprising Deputy Sheriff Warehouse in Ikorodu and a 34-unit 3-bedroom residential complex for magistrates and legal officers in K2. The housing facility, reportedly the first of its kind in the country, is part of the governor's broader plan to improve working and living conditions for members of the judiciary. Speaking at the inauguration, Sanwo-Olu described the development as an affirmation of his administration's dedication to judicial reforms and infrastructural development.
Your strong interagency, collaboration, and the relentless pursuit of excellence that we know you for. Of course, you are not doing this alone. You're working tirelessly with your admin judges. You're working tirelessly with the entire body of the Judicial Commission at achieving all of these great feats. And so we celebrate this achievement. Let us reaffirm our dedication to building a Lagos where justice is accessible, justice is efficient, and justice is fair. We will continue to set standards for judicial excellence and ensure that Lagos State remains a beacon of hope, a beacon of progress and prosperity for all. I charge all judicial officers and staff to take full ownership of a facility like this, maintain it and use it well, in line with the highest standards, and use them as a springboard of the greater efficiency and service delivery. I'm certain that building a judiciary that inspires confidence, it will protect rights, and to serve the pillar of our democracy.
I want to thank Your Excellency for giving life to this project. And like the Attorney General had mentioned, it will enable us to keep goods seized in the course of litigation under proper care, which I said will be of benefit to both the judgment creditor and the judgment debtor. And that will help a lot in the administration of justice in the state. I commit ourselves, Mr. Governor, and pledge that this place will be put to proper use, will be well managed and well maintained.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We're only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Okay, which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Now, in case you missed any of the news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limus World TV and AVO TV. Log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
And on business, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to meet with the leadership of Nigeria's power-generating companies as part of an emergency effort to address the 4 trillion naira debt threatening to cripple the country's economic supply chain. The move follows a high-level meeting between the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, and Chairman of GENCOs in Abuja amid mounting fears of a possible collapse of the national grid due to liquidity constraints in the sector, according to a statement from the Power Ministry on Sunday. The government pledged immediate action to reduce the 4 trillion naira debt owed to power generating companies. GENCOs had issued a warning to the federal government over the continued accumulation of debt, now totaling over 4 trillion naira. And Lagos State Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology has disclosed that over 1 million subscribers have been added to the internet in the state in the last 1 year under its Metro Fiber project. The State Commissioner for Innovation, Science and Technology, Olatubosun Alake, made this known during the 2025 ministerial press briefing to mark the second-year anniversary of the second tenure of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration. Alake says the number of internet subscribers in Lagos has increased to approximately 1 million between 2024 and 2025 due to the state government's effort in fiber rollout and connectivity.
Between 2023 actually and 2025, more than 1 million people have been connected to the internet. So over the course of our project and over the course of proliferating fiber optic ducts and connecting points of interest, between the end of 2023 and 2025, over 1 million additional internet subscribers have emerged in Lagos. This has spoken positively to connectivity in education, in health, and in many, many other sectors of the economy. We continue to drive fiber optic proliferation across the city, and we hope to report increasing gains in that. I'm very pleased to say that Engineer Ganiu Oseni, who is a special advisor to the governor in broadband technology and innovation, has been tasked with driving connectivity across the state. And he's off to actually a roaring start as well. So we expect under his administration and under his driving this particular vertical, we will see much more impact in this area. We do not stop. Lagos has the highest connected density in the nation. We have been able to spread fiber optic ducts to areas that have been less connected. When you look at places like Ikorodu, when you look at places like Alimosho, this has allowed the major players, the telco players, to also expand their infrastructure to these areas.
The Lagos State government, through the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, disbursed 1.17 billion naira loans to 4,600 micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, in 2024, and its drive to reduce unemployment in the state. Commissioner for Wealth Creation and Employment, Akiyemi Ajigbotafe, who disclosed this in a briefing to commemorate the 6th anniversary of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, said that the repayment rate by beneficiaries has been as high as 91% within the period. Ajigbotafe said LSETF has also provided 82 small businesses with access to market opportunities in the state, while also training and securing employment for 6,685 residents through its programs, while another 558.56 million naira was disbursed as grants to support some Lagos-based businesses. And oil prices fell more than $1 a barrel on Monday as OPEC Plus has said to further speed up oil output hikes, spurring concerns about more supply coming into a market, clouded by an uncertain demand outlook. Brent crude future dropped $1.34 to $59.95 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude was $56.87 a barrel, down by $1.42. Both countries touched their lowest since April the 9th at Monday's open to accelerate oil production hikes for a second consecutive month, raising output in June by 411,000 barrels per day. And on the global scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has said he was ordering new tariffs on all films made outside the United States. He said the Hollywood industry is He said the United States Hollywood was being devastated by a trend of U.S. filmmakers and studios working abroad. The announcement comes as the White House is coming under mounting criticism over his alleged trade policies that have seen Trump impose sweeping tariffs on countries around the globe. Trump's post comes after China, which is taking the brunt of the U.S. president's combative trade policies with 145% tariff on many goods, said last month it would reduce the number of U.S. films it imports. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Sunday that a ceasefire with Russia is more than 3 years war was possible at any moment, and called on Kyiv's allies to apply greater pressure on Moscow to put the measures in place. Zelensky, speaking at a joint news conference in Prague alongside Czech President Petro Pavel, said that unless increased pressures were applied, Kremlin's leader Vladimir Putin would take no real step to end the conflict. Now, today marks the 54th day that Russia has ignored even the Americans' proposal to completely cease fire. And finally, on sport, Nigeria was held to a goalless draw by Morocco in a tense Group B encounter at the ongoing CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations in Cairo on Sunday. In a contest that revived memories of their dramatic 2005 semi-final duel, which Nigeria edged on penalties after a 2-2 draw, both sides battled intensely but lacked the clinical edge in front of goal to make a decisive impact. The feature marked Nigeria's 99th appearance in the history of the Under-20 AFCON, and despite dominant spells during the game, the Flying Eagles were unable to secure what would have been their 57th win in the competition. Ambiamene were crowned German champions for the 34th time on Sunday, giving striker Harry Kane his first major trophy after second place Bayer Leverkusen drew 2-2 at Freiburg. Bayern's 3-3 draw at RB Leipzig on Saturday, when the Bavarians came from 2 goals down to take the lead before conceding a stoppage time equalizer, meant defending Bundesliga's champions Leverkusen needed to win at Freiburg to delay the title party. And those are the stories we have on our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tamilore Akinkole. See you again next time.
Hello, Alahaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I'll just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country. Corruption, not in my country.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Right in the middle of this forest in southwest Ogun State and inside the buildings below, a young generation of farmers in Nigeria is changing the face of farming and attracting young people to a venture many of them had not always liked. And 36-year-old Peter Okoche Jr., or PJ as he's fondly called, is leading the change. An economist by training before branching off into farming, PJ and his team are deploying a unique method of farming known as aeroponics to grow cash crops, starting out here in August of 2017.
What's taking place is that you're seeing agricultural technology. It's a disruptive form of technology. It's called aeroponics, whereby the plants are grown in a soilless medium. Essentially, there's no soil, and the roots of the plants, which are underneath these boxes, are being misted with nutrients and so forth. So everything is within a controlled environment, and it's fully automated as well.
Their focal crop is yam, a very popular edible starchy tuber mainly cultivated in Africa and exported across the world.
So the yam subsector of the overall agricultural sector, it's a very lucrative sector. But the problem is that the requisite inputs haven't been applied. And so what we're doing in this program is saying that, okay, we know that there's a sector that currently has a value, according to the Food and Agricultural Organization based in Rome, of about $13 billion US. But with the requisite inputs, the yam subsector will grow from $13 billion to about $19 billion. And this is Nigeria alone. So what we've said is that, okay, we know also that Nigeria accounts for 60% of the global production of yam, but yet we don't have inputs such as seed. And as you know, seeds, or the lab and the seed essentially is the genesis of the agricultural sector. So what we're doing is that in conjunction with IITA, we get clean seeds, essentially from IITA, from the lab, and then we come and we transplant to the system here.
The system is a greenhouse where the yam seeds are grown in this row of boxes using aeroponics, more like growing yams in the air. Now just take a look at these leaves. Every leaf you see here is a potential tuber of yam. So to get a sense of how many tubers of yam we have here, you just have to do a count of all the leaves we have here. It's something very massive.
We have about 10 boxes, and in those boxes, all fully automated aeroponic systems. And it leads to high propagation of plants. And so we're actually massively propagating, and it will continue like this for a 3-year period of just continuous growth, non-stop. After the propagation, what you'll see is that it will essentially form a canopy. It will be very bush-like and so forth. And from there, we'll start vine cutting. And from the vine cutting, we'll cut these, we'll put them into essentially polyethylene bags and with a nutrient solution, and they'll stay in there for about a month. And essentially what it is that because this is in a controlled environment, we're taking them out and saying, okay, we're preparing you for a month to get used to the external elements, and they'll be there for a month, and then we eventually take them to the field.
This is the field where they are brought and planted into the soil so the seeds could develop fully.
These right now currently have been here for about 3 weeks. And we're still planting now, and they'll be here for a total of about 3 months. And after about 3 months, we'll get seeds of about 250 to about 500 grams. And those are the seeds that we'll provide to farmers. And farmers can then go and plant directly, and it will give them the ware yam sizes of 1 kg, 2 kg and above.
One of the smallholder farmers who's been using the yam seeds from the aeroponics farm is Awofe Ademola. He's been into traditional yam farming all his adult life, and says the yam seeds from the aeroponics farm have seen his output more than double and safe from pests.
There's a lot of difference between the two methods because the new method doesn't get infected by pests and it doesn't change color like the traditional planted yams. It will remain fresh as it is wherever it is kept. Their yam when harvested is almost 3 times or 4 times more than ours. When we plant one of our own seed yam, it equates to 4 of theirs.
Habibat Umar is the only female in the group. She's one of those overseeing the day-to-day running of the Smart Farm. She says she's fascinated by the whole idea of it.
One of the things that fascinates me most is the fact that we can go all year round producing food. More like you can cheat God's creation and having to depend on the rain and all. And everybody wants to eat all the time. You don't want to wait for when the rain is here. And so the fact that we can provide the food all year round, it's everything to me.
Even though all may seem fine, PJ and his team are battling familiar challenges to keep their operations running.
More attention needs to be given to the sector. There needs to be more financing put in place. We need to have adequate land laws in place and to ensure that we can optimize all the arable land that we have and so forth. There needs to be insurance. We need to have better road networks. Power is a major impediment as well. Essentially we have our own solar system, as well as the fact that we also have a generator as well for backup. So power cost is also a major impediment as well. So all of these things, if we can put all these things in place, then the sector will boom for sure.
PJ and his team are setting themselves up as role models for young people. In a country where youth unemployment is high, they are hoping to inspire many within their age bracket to take to their kind of farming technique.
We need women to even join this chain because this is not all about. We've gone past the stage of waiting for men doing it. So why wouldn't I want to be part of it? Like let people say, oh, she's a woman, she's doing it. Do you understand? So women have to join this chain.
My message for the youth is saying that, listen, with the use of technology and disruptive methods such as this, essentially you can run your farm on your laptop, on your computer and so forth and everything. It's all automated. So essentially this makes agriculture cool. It makes agriculture sexy. You have the technological components to it and so forth and everything. So it's not just the conventional, back-breaking work in the field and so forth and everything like that. There are also these components as well that will make it appealing to the youth. So I say, listen, join me. We have a nation to feed and we have a nation to grow as well.
da kamar ina tare da waya ta ma za ku ta hamada saboda ni na ɗauka waya kamar yanzu kamar ana mutum yana siririn bidiyo na gargajiya ko ka tona hamada gurin kiwon ma babu gonakan kan babu ma maganar gonakai duk inda muke da gonakai gurin sahara ya ce gurin kiwo sahara ya ce kuma taku da kanka ma kana tafiya wallahi kana sai ka yi ni kana tafiya wani gangare ka shiga ko ka kan ka sai ya fi da kana tona ma ba za ka kama shi karuwa yake ma karuwa ba an ce akwai ma'aikatan ma
Farmers and herders in Nigeria used to enjoy relative peace as they interacted with each other. That is no longer the case. It is estimated that between 2016 and 2018, over 3,600 lives were lost to the crisis between the two groups. In the first half of 2018, about 300,000 people became displaced for the same reason. Northwestern and North Central Nigeria have notably been the heart of this violence. But the crisis is spreading fast to other parts of the country, including the South. Several factors have been identified for the wave of bloodshed: rapidly increasing population figures, rapidly dwindling resources, which both groups rely on. Also, the pattern of migration of the traditionally nomadic Fulani cattle rearers has been changing. This is due to rising insecurity, improvements in veterinary medicine, hostility from locals and state governments, and a bunch of environmental factors including climate change, desertification, loss of vegetation, and water scarcity. In Yobe, northeast Nigeria, the relationship between the scarcity of natural resources and increased violence is obvious. From the encroachment of the Sahara Desert to the shrinking of the Hadija Nguru wetlands.
ina magana akan yanayin mutuwar dabbobinmu lokacin yunwa. Misali, idan rani ya ja lokaci kafin faduwar damuna, dab da faduwar damuna, ciyawa ta kan yanke.
Wato matsalar da muke samu na ita kwararwa hamada. Mu dai faru na gama in particular daga Fulani gabar da nan kenan da muke zo ne har zuwa Gumsi sai su faru da kuma jajin bayan da dai abubuwan da kuke gani a nan yanzu a ƙasa ta kusa kan jari hamada ta riga ta cika cikin lokacin gama ta yi nisa ta ci sosai ba mu san dai kuma abin da zai biyo baya ba amma bangaren gwamnati.
The challenge of climate change and the consequences of climate change on the environment, especially when you look closely at environmental degradation and the competition for resources, in this instance specifically for land and water, has in several instances generated conflict. There is virtually no part of the northwest, not to an extent north central, and then northeast that you go to that you don't see receding water bodies, and how this is having a huge impact on the socio-economic well-being of and livelihoods of the people in those communities. And so the likelihood of migration from the core northern states into some parts of southern Nigeria is something that is real.
Zakari, a village in Yusufari, northern Yobe State, lies on the fringes of the Sahara Desert. About 50 years ago, it was like any other arid northeast Nigerian community, with decent vegetation, a smooth road network, sun-baked mud buildings, and a great many people who had lived there for generations. Now it is just miles and miles of sand dunes. Desert encroachment has pushed out the majority of the residents, many of them herders. Malam Musa is one of many herders in Gaidam who have now resettled in the Song area of Adamawa.